Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Austin, author of The King stars Mark Wahlberg. Desperate for one last chance to win, Michael Light convinces a sponsor to back him and a team of athletes for the Venture Racing World Championship in Dominican Republic. The team gets pushed back to the outer limits of endurance. A dog named Arthur comes along for the ride. Arthur the King is kind of that generic, based on a true story. Yeah. It doesn't really try anything new. It doesn't like everything that you know what's going to happen is going to happen. And overall, I did like the film. I think the film was fun. There was a lot of good jokes in the film, and I got behind the team at some point in the film, even though they're really not good people at all. They're all kind of assholes in their own ways, besides maybe two of them. But Mark Wahlberg and Simu Liu is Liu. I have no idea to say his name. The guy from Shang-Chi and Barbie, who plays kid number two, basically. That guy. They're kind of like the assholes of the group, and they're kind of somewhat our main leads of the film. And it's like, well, why can we get behind this guy? Especially Mark Wahlberg's character. It's supposed to be like, oh, it's like this inspiring story. It's like this uplifting story where he comes across this dog and next this dog helps him go on this final race or whatever. But the beginning of the movie is kind of like, I didn't win. I want to win. I've been doing this for 19 years. I really want to win. And and takes money from his family savings as well. So this is and that we find out later on in the movie when we're like cheering for this team on. It's like, oh, that subplot actually never gets brought up ever again. It's just that for that one line, and it's like never a conflict in the film. I thought it would it'll come back towards the end, or it's like, hey, how dare you take our money? Like you got to win this thing now for the. I don't know, but it was just like it was never ever brought up. It was just like out of left field. It's like, did this even actually happen? And I don't really care enough to go out and do the research to actually figure out that this actually did happen, because the movie doesn't care enough to actually elaborate on what actually happened and didn't happen. For example, what mostly didn't happen is what a lot of the dog scenes that we saw in this film. Mostly not with Mark Wahlberg's character. I mean by itself. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where we see the dog's journey in the city getting to the point where he meets Mark Wahlberg's character. It's like, I don't need this. I get that you're doing this for drama and all that, and probably also doing it to pad up the runtime because this is only a 90-minute film. So I understand there are some bits that you can have in there, but there's literally a scene where we have two dogs that are completely jerks to Arthur. And we kind of get this like, I am the bad guy somewhat of this film, but as a dog, and I'm going to chase you, and I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure banded dogs are probably jerks to one another because food or whatever. But it's like, if it's the way that was shot, and there was a joke also involved with that. It's like, this is a little bit too much. It would have been more interesting. It's like we saw the dog for the very first time, and it's with Mark Wahlberg's character, and it's like, oh shit, this is fucked up. This is a dog. Who would treat a dog like this? Like, we don't need to see that. We don't need this. Like, it's good to like allude to things. Like, it's see, I don't. I say a lot of things like I like to be shown this and not always been told this, but showing the dog beaten to it is showing it. You don't need to show how the dog went through that journey. Like, you see the dog is ruffled. You see the dog has gone through stuff. You don't need to show the whole entire journey. The movie is all about this race, and it's fine for what it is. Like I said, like it went really. I didn't really start getting attached to Mark Wahlberg's character in some form until Arthur and him met up. He's like, and next you see him like, there is a good side to him, even though he's kind of a fucking asshole. You see him caring for the dog, and it's like, and he cares about the dog and all that. It's like, okay, that's cool. But there's no really actual character development in the film. Like I said at the beginning of the review, Mark Wahlberg and Sayu, again, I don't know how to say his name. They hate each other. Like, they don't like each other at all. Suddenly, at some point in the film, they're like best buds. It's like, ha, like nudging one another or whatever. It's like, um, okay. And there's this subplot about one of the team members' dad that just felt out of left field as well, and now this certain thing is most likely is true, but the way that they go about it, it's like, oh, this has happened, and it's like, what? we're about the race, and you're saying this now? Uh, it just the way that they put it in the film felt forced, and it's like, who really talks like this? It's like, and it's not like they're in a moment of like arguing. It's like, hey, this is happening with my dad. We need a and like I'm racing for him. This is the reason why I'm here, and so let's get it together. Here it's like, all right, Mark Wahlberg is trying to like ramp everyone up. It's like, all right, let's do this. All right, we're a team this time, and we're gonna win. And next out of nowhere, this character kind of ruins the moment. It's like my dad. It's like, oh, well, that sucks. I'm sorry about that, but there's better times to say that than right now. That was probably the worst time to actually mention that, because now we're all depressed while I was trying to hype everyone up. Overall, the film is fine. There's a lot of funny jokes. It's cute to see Mark Wahlberg with the dog, and that's kind of where that's where I got attached to him, when he was trying to care for the dog. But his personality is kind of a dick, and and the movie doesn't really go anywhere with that. And and he gets some form of message, I guess, towards the end. It comes down to how the movie was edited together, and some of the writing bits were like somewhat janky to one another. It's like the movie was flying past through a lot of stuff. It's like, why do we care about this? Why should we care about him winning, even though he took money from his family savings, and he doesn't apologize for it or anything? Like, there's no repercussions to anything that any of the characters do in the film, and you don't see really a lot of their struggles or any like or character developments through the film. Like, all you kind of see is a montage of them running, and as they get into some dangerous situations, like, okay, we got to get into this. How are we going to get out of this situation? There was one really cool situation I liked, and it involved a zip line. That was probably the best thing in the film. I don't know how practical it was. Maybe if that was a practical thing, that's good job, film. Cool on you, but most likely it probably wasn't. I'm gonna give Arthur the King a C plus. It's fine. I'm not really nothing against it or mad about it, or like it's one of those true generic true stories that we've all seen. We know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, if you have nothing else to see, and if you guys already seen Dune Part 2, go check out Arthur the King if you have nothing else to see. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.